Yo. All right, guys. As always, let me know if this is working. It should be working fine because I connect with the Wi-Fi, and then if it doesn't work, I switch to my hotspot. But I just connected with the Wi-Fi or with my hotspot, not the Wi-Fi. So it should be solid right off the bat. Um, God, we already got a good amount of people in here. Good chat going on. This is a lot of fun. How's everyone's Friday? Find the right position for the mic. We already started off with 13 likes. That is a world record. We got Ride Lifestyle, Shinobi Ken, Lucas, Pierce, Matt, Beef BMX, Zozo, Marvin, Matt. I think I already said Matt. Black 1A7 came in to say what's up, but then he left us. Action Jacks, Blake Wagner, and I guess that is about it. Um, Yo, Rado is here. Rado, you've been missing all the lives. We were thinking about you. Rado, Aiden, and Jeff. They're some of the OGs that haven't been in here in a while. All right, cool guys. So um let's see. Here's a cool thing I did. I'm just kind of stalling a little bit so that let a few more people get back in here or get in here, get in the chat to ask those questions. But so like I can change now my focus to this so that I can just show you guys this. It's all in focus and then oop, back to me. Crazy. So that'll be fun because I hate trying to explain it on here and then like it's all blurry. It's all anyway. So that's what's going on. Okay. Let's go through our five moderators. You know, the first five people in the chat get to have the blue wrench for the rest of the live. So Blake was number one. Blake came in and said, "What's up?" Super early. Shinobi Ken Shinobi just got a new helmet and is thinking the weather is going to be good on Sunday, so he'll be able to get out and ride the bike. That's exciting because I know we've all been dealing with not so good weather. For me, I always tell you guys it's super warm here, but then we get it's been windy. So it's exciting that you're able to get out. Hopefully the weather holds up. So anyway, that's our second moderator. We got Blake, we got Action Jacks number 3, Beef BMX, and Matt number 5. All right, perfect guys. So I guess we could just roll right in to some of the questions. I don't know if there's any questions here. Lucas, wait. I need the air horn. Hold on. Lucas learned a Lucas, what's the new trick? What's up 650? Happy Easter, man. What's up Asher? Happy Easter. Yeah, happy Easter weekend to all you guys. So I'm still gonna do the live on Sunday. As always, it's gonna be a little bit later than normal. I think I'm gonna do 7, but anyway, it's scheduled on there already. So all you have to do is check it out. Clue FN is in here. All right, so I'm waiting for Lucas to tell me what trick he got. Then I'm gonna go back up. Zozo had a really solid question, so I'm gonna start off with Zozo's question, and then I will scroll down and catch up with all of the other questions. Lucas isn't going to tell me what trick it is yet. He's going to tell me later. So, okay. Anyway, I'm going to go back up here to Zozo's question. Hey guys. Oh wait, let me pin it. I want to buy my first BMX and the Kink Whip is the one that I want to get. Unfortunately, the normal version is out of stock everywhere. I'm 5'7". Would the Whip XL be too big for me? And the short answer, the really quick answer is no, it would not be too big for you. You might, I don't know if you're still growing or not. Um, not sure. But click the link. I just put it in. It's to the size guide. And the way I designed the size guide is because it's not like most size guides just tell you you need this size. And that's not particularly true because based on your height, the size of top tube you get will affect your style differently. So for example, 5 foot. Wait, you're 5'7", right? Oh, okay, you're 5'7". So 5'6" to 5'9", getting a 20.5 top tube is going to be perfect in the middle for you. So that's what the Kink Whip is. That's going to be absolutely perfect for you. And if you notice on the size guide, it goes 20.75, says it'll give you a bike that feels good when going high and fast. It's a bigger size and it's best for flowy park and dirt riders. So if you look at how like Corey Walsh rides, um, oh my God, Gary Young. Any of those guys that just go really high, really fast, they're riding a top tube that's a little taller for their size. I think Corey Walsh is on like a 21.25 and he's probably closer to 5'8". So anyway, long story short, if you get the Kink Whip XL, it is past that 20.75 inch. So it's gonna feel really stable. So that's good and bad. I think you're still growing, Zozo. I have no idea. But if you are still growing, definitely go with the XL. If you're not, only get the XL if you think that it's going to complement your style. Like if you want to have a really controlled bike and you're not so concerned about snappy and responsive tricks. So hopefully that helps. Yeah, okay. Pierce is going to an indoor park that you have not been to yet. Which indoor park, Pierce? I'm very curious. It's crazy how many indoor parks we don't really have in the US. Somebody commented, I think I talked about that a little bit on episode 5 of the podcast, and somebody commented and said, "Well, in the UK, we don't really have that many either, but everything is so closer together, and also all the outdoor parks that they have in the UK kind of suck. Where we have really top quality outdoor parks out here in the US." So I don't know. I don't think that we have that many here where we're at. We do have a lot of outdoor parks, and I guess generally the weather's good enough most of the time that we can all ride it. Oh, Action Jax is in here, and I'm gonna shout out Action Jax. He posted a Feeble video, and it's pretty solid. It's so cool. Like I said, I love subscribing to you guys and getting out and being able to watch you guys progress and just learn different things. So I don't know if you guys can hear that or not. That's the air horn. So good job, Action Jacks. Keep killing it. You definitely need a little taller ledge because that is like your peg was barely on, but it was a feeble. So kudos, man. That's where it starts, right? Then you just work up from there. So good job. Dirt Racer X is in the chat. What's up, man? We have Asher. We have Lucas is riding, but he's sore. Pierce Pierce 3D printed some custom valve cap. Pierce, that's sick. Where what do I got to do to get some custom valve caps? All right, it skipped me down to the bottom, but all right, 650 said happy Easter, and that goes to all you guys. Happy Easter. I hope you guys get lots of candy and stuff. Daniel is in here. Daniel redid his chain. Oh, dented, maybe dented. Hey man, I read. I think that means it's supposed to mean dented. Okay. Yeah, Daniel, that happens a lot on the chainstay, especially where your cranks are. Like your crankstay or your cranks will dent the chainstay pretty bad too. And it's fine, honestly, as long as there's no cracks and as long as it's a dent and not like your whole chainstay being bent, that's totally normal, sadly. I think Sunday makes dent resistant tubing, but most bikes don't have that. And so yeah, that's totally normal. Rado wants me to check if the Beffley spin specs. All right, Rado, just because you are always leaving memes and jokes on on every video. Um, Rado, I saw a thing where you commented on a guy that was asking me about a bike. You commented and told him to get the Beffley Flip. So that is awesome. Good job helping out the community, helping everyone out. Guys, actually, I just thought of it. Is my mic loud enough? Because I think I turn it down when I film the podcast. Okay, Rado. Yeah, the Beffley spin, from what I understand, it says it's chromoly, but the way I look at it is it's kind of like the is it elite the elite CMNDR. Like it's not a super high quality bike, but it is made out of that higher quality material. And what I mean by that is they don't put the same level of craftsmanship and aftermarket parts into creating it. So while the parts are like technically it's not the same as like a $700 bike. So I don't know. For a beginner, it's the same thing, guys. Any beginner bike is going to be just fine if you're not doing mid-level, high-level tricks. You're going to be just fine riding it as you progress to that level. As your bike starts to break, you know that you're progressing a little too much and you need to upgrade it. So, Rado, the Beffley Spin is not a bad bike. Yo, J Nick followed me. Thank you, J Nick. Are you here on the live? That'd be crazy. Andrew, what's up, Andrew? Um, all right. I kind of skipped down to the bottom just to read a couple things. Let's see. Pierce says, "How can I send you some valve caps?" I don't know, man. Yeah, I mean, you could send them to my address. That'd be kind of cool. What do they look like? What kind of custom valve caps we talking here? All right, I got to go back up to the top and get back to those questions. These are good questions, guys. This is a killer live already. I'm loving it. Well, I can't really find where I was at, but that's okay because Ride Lifestyle tried to record a video for the first time speaking in front of the camera, but it was hard. But once he did it, it was fun. Dude, if you guys look back to the first couple like bike reviews that I did, they're so bad. And I hated talking on the camera. I mean, I don't mind it now, I guess, but it was really hard at first and it was awkward and uncomfortable. And then you just get used to it. I think this is the way for all of you guys that want to have YouTube channels like um Action Jacks, like Aiden, I watch your guys' channels and the tricks are cool. And this is what I try to explain to my brother is that people don't Google, like no one's gonna look up day in the life of Douglas, right? Day in the life of Dougster Bob or Dougster Bob riding this. No one Googles that stuff. That's just how it doesn't work that way. So if you guys want to get anywhere with your channels, you've got to create content that people are actually looking for. So I don't know, beginner feeble tips or whatever in Action Jax's example, or something that people would actually search for and talk about it, tell a story. Like people love to hear stories. People love to follow a timeline. And so you by doing that, like you're gonna step yourself up ahead of all the other creators who are just putting out content and hoping they get discovered and hoping that things come out of it. So for all of you guys that want to build something, there's a couple tips. It's been crazy how you guys have helped grow this channel over the last few months, and I'm always hyped, like seeing every month I track how many subs I get and all this kind of stuff. And so like last I did it just yesterday for last month, and I'm like, this is crazy. This is so much fun just growing it that way. Hmm. Uh, Marvin said, "Do you think New Balances are good for BMX? I know they don't have good grip like the Vans, but they look pretty comfortable." Marvin, send me a link to them because I'm not sure like which specific is it model? Are shoes called models? Which specific shoe you're talking about? Like, send the link. But generally, like, so I ride in Nikes. Hold on, I almost tipped over. But if you guys look, like the grip awful to be honest. There's not and the grip is awful. Let's and but that's what I wrote it. So I had to get metal pins just to ride in those, but by doing that, it was okay. It worked out fine. Now, if you get pedals with metal pins in Vans, that is way too much grip for most people, and it's uncomfortable at that point. So suggestion, Marvin, if you want to ride New Balances because they're comfortable for you, that's awesome. You got to think about the foot comfort for sure. But if your pedals don't grip very good, you can just upgrade your pedals. Like it's a pretty simple deal. You'll be able to but if you have pedals with metal pins, please wear shin guards because it is not fun getting smacked in the shin. Clue FN, any tips for fakies, please? I'm doing them right now. Okay. I saw somebody, yeah, Action Jack said lean back and roll out. And to be honest, it's almost that simple. The best thing to do, I don't know how you're practicing them or trying them, but you want to hold on. Let me shift the focus. Did that work? Oh yeah. So you want to find something that you can roll into. And that's how I do it. So I'd ride into the back of my mom's car. She wasn't very happy about it, but that's how I'd learn. And you roll into it, okay, boop, and then you pull off backwards. And when you pull off, you're throwing your weight back, just like Action Jack says, lean back, throw that weight back. Okay. So that gets you going backwards. Then you're going to want to pedal backwards. You have to pedal backwards. Your pedals are going to be moving anyway. So pedal backwards and turn your bars the opposite way that you want to fakie out. So if you want to fakie out to the right, turn your bars to the left. If you want to fakie out to the left, turn your bars to the right. And what that does is it starts to pivot you in that direction. Okay. So start to turn your bars while you're pedaling backwards, pivot. And when you get right here to about 90 degrees, that's when you push down with your pedals and you give it pedal pressure, assuming you're riding a cassette. And when you push down with your pedals, you also lean back a little bit and it picks up the front wheel. So, and when that happens, okay, pedal pressure, lean back, you turn your bars the way you actually want to go and keep turning with your body. And then do, you just fakied. And really it's that simple, but it takes a lot of attempts. And just with any trick, you've got to figure out how to connect your body um, to your bike and make it work that way. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. I hope that helps a little bit. So Matt says, could you cover converting from free coaster to cassette? I'm on a free coaster and it's fine, but I think I'd like the cassette option also. Ordered the parts, but wondering if there's anything to be aware of. Not particularly. Um, the biggest thing, you're on a free coaster right now, right? I think going from free coaster to cassette is not really that big of a deal, but going from cassette to free coaster, you've got to get used to a lot. Obviously, it's going to take you a couple times to get used to when you 180, having to pedal backwards with the fakie. But other than that, like you're good. You don't have to worry about disengaging the clutch. You don't have to worry about softly pedaling until it engages so you don't hit your knee. Going on cassette, you're going to be solid. So it is like it's a lot easier for people to start on a cassette because there's not so much that you have to actually know. But so it's good that you started on a free coaster. You figured out how that works, and now you can put on a cassette and play with it that way. It's going to open a good amount of different tricks that you're able to do now, like tire taps and things like that. So, and if you keep both of them, you can just switch them out. And that's what I want to do ultimately is get a free coaster so I can switch out onto free coaster cassette whenever I feel like it. Okay, Beef BMX, we just got to a comment from him and have to ask him, did you get any more tail whips? That is the question. He landed one tail whip last week. He's been trying for a while. He's landed them a few times over the years. And did you land a tail whip? I'm going to see it when I scroll down. I hope you landed a tail whip. Okay, Claim Stain says, how do I get a cheap BMX? Um, like the look online, I guess. I don't normally tell people, I mean, look used. That's what I mean. Look online for used bikes. I don't normally recommend used bikes just because you can get ripped off pretty easily. Like this guy could have rode it for 5 years and left it out in the rain for 2 years and then now he's selling it, right? You never really know what you're getting with a used bike, but for a cheap good quality, I know there's a handful of you guys who have picked up used bikes and then taken the parts off to use those parts. And you really can get a great deal by doing it that way. You just kind of have to know what to look for. Make sure there's no cracks in any of the tubing. Make sure the chainstay is not bent. Make sure the pedals don't fall off. Just a handful of basic things. That would probably be your best bet for getting a cheap BMX. All right, Zozo is gonna get the XL. Dude, it's crazy that you have an XL in stock where you're at, honestly. There's everyone's looking for those. I just for you guys who are looking for a bike still, Sunday is restocked on the Secret BMX. I got an email from them telling me they restocked Sunday. So I sent it out to a couple guys who are looking for Sundays. But just so you guys know, Sunday's in stock on the secret bmxshop.com. I think that's what it is. I don't know. They're in California, but they do mail order. So, for whatever it's worth. Roud, what is up? Welcome to the live. Thank you for popping in here. Daniel says, is there a way to buy old 2019 or 2018 frames that are cheaper because I have no money? Kind of on the same topic of claim stain that we just talked about, man. Look for used. You'll probably only find like used complete bikes, but sometimes you can find just used parts listed like Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, even eBay. Look around for that because people are always trying to get rid of things. They got into BMX, then they got a car, they got a girlfriend, whatever. They quit riding, so now they're selling their bike or their parts. Daniel, you can find a really good deal like that. Look at Ride Lifestyle giving out those fakey tips. I appreciate that when you guys help each other out. Beef BMX says no good indoor parks close by. We need more bike parks. I feel like it's a huge difference from skate parks. I saw your post on Instagram, and that's a good point. My park here in Cruces, everything is so spread out. So it's like obstacle, a bunch of dead space, obstacle, a bunch of dead space, obstacle. And for us, it's like, okay, if you want to ride the whole park, you have to pedal in between. And for skaters, they just sesh one spot. And so then if you try to ride the whole park, they're kind of in the way, which is frustrating. But the one thing, so like Chandler is a bike park, and there's a handful of bike specific parks around the US that are God, they're just the best parks ever. They flow so good. There's not random rails in the middle of everything. Like it's got such a good layout. You know what I mean? Whereas skate parks, it just to me, most of them just seem so random. It's like, well, here's this obstacle, and here's this, and here's that, and here's this. I agree with you. We should start a skate park coalition and build skate parks all over the all over the bike parks, not skate parks, bike parks all over the world. I skipped down to the bottom. I see Daniel, I see Isaac McPike. What is up, guys? Isaac, what frame did you get? Oh, wait. We the People Pathfinder. Sick. That's a good frame. I see Wyatt. All right, guys, I am getting to your questions. Normally, I'm way up here answering these questions, and if your comment is way down here, I will get to it. It just takes me like 10 minutes, probably. It depends on how quick I'm answering these. So be patient, hang out, wait till I get to your question, and then we're good to go. Oh, Lucas told me what trick. That was a that was a unhyped a button press, but good job, Lucas. Lucas did a 180 into a bank and fakie down it. That is a whole different thing than just a normal 180. You 180 on flat ground, you have time to fakie and get it around. When you go into a bank, you're going fast. And so if you don't have your fakie skills down, you're going to have a really hard time getting out of that. Good job. Good job, Lucas. Oh, look, I skipped way down past it. Good job, man. So Roud has a question about 22-inch custom frames back end length. What's the question about it? Like what the length is? If the question's what the length is, I have no idea. It's something that's going to vary. They're probably closer to 14 plus inches, where BMX is like 13-ish. But I have no idea. You'd have to like shoot me the frame or something. All right, I'm just looking. Oh, here's Rod's question. Cool. We're just talking about that. Can you go any shorter with your back end on a 22-inch frame and still ride 22-inch wheels? I mean, so theoretically, if my math is right, you could, as long as your chain stays over 11 inches, 11 and a half inches or whatever, you should be able to ride 22-inch. How does that make sense? Because that goes to the bottom bracket. I'm trying to think because so like if your wheel's 22 inches, right? Half of the wheel is going to be 11. Then your tire adds an inch or two, but then that gap to your bottom bracket adds a few inches. So I don't know. I don't think you could go much shorter, man. I think it's probably designed pretty close to it. I was gonna say as long as it's over 11 inches, you should be fine, but that wouldn't make sense with the tire and with that extra piece of metal in between the bottom bracket and where like the thing actually ends. Dang, that's tough. Yeah, I have no idea. I mean, if you have your dropouts, like you could slam the wheel and get it as close forward as you want. And most back ends are measured from the center of the dropouts to the chains or to the bottom bracket. So by moving it forward, like you are shortening it just a little bit, but you probably can't really like grind into it and move it any further than that. They're usually designed for whatever length that is. Andrew says, "Yo, Doug, Rado has to go. Bye, Rado." Jeff says, "What's up?" Jeff is one that we haven't seen in a few weeks. What's up, Jeff? Glad you're here. I was gonna message you and see how everything's going. Um, Rado's hyped on the Beffley. Pierce, what? That's crazy. I want to get a 3D printer just to mess around with. I don't know anything about it, but that's really cool that you're able to make stuff like that. Yeah, you can make like a little Etsy and sell BMX valve caps. You could probably make decent money. Paleo, what's up? Thank you for coming to the live. Thanks for hanging out. He says, "My man, love the channel. Tire PSI. I'm 6'3", 215. Love all the commentary for larger dudes." Thank you. So I'm 6'4" and about 210, 215. So pretty close to you. I ride a 21-inch top tube and my tire pressure is 80. I I ride a lot of tire pressure. And the reason for that is anytime I'm below like 70, 70 is the lowest I can go. If I'm below 70, my tires absorb too much of my pop. So when I try and say do a hop 3 or whatever, it's like a lot of that pop is uncompressing the tire and it takes away from a lot of the power that I need to do different things. So I like my tires like rock solid. It's not very comfortable for drops, but it's good for being able to actually do tricks and stuff like that. So that is the tire pressure. But a lot of people, it also depends on what you're riding. So for street specific riders, they're going to ride closer to that 60 range generally to take a lot of the impact off of their wrists when they do big drops and things like that. Park riders are going to ride like up in that 100 range because they can, well, they're not doing big drops, so they don't have to worry about that. The transition takes a lot of the impact. But when your tires are solid like that, there's no rolling resistance. I mean, virtually none. And then you're able to keep your speed a lot longer than you normally would with lower tire pressure because the lower pressure eats away at the speed. So that's something to think about too. That's something that doesn't particularly have anything to do with height and weight. I mean, maybe it does. Maybe 80 psi for me feels like 60 for someone who's a lot lighter. I never really thought of that, but I don't think so. Um, Harder tires are better for cruising around, but not good for drops. But that's what I ride. I ride 80. All right, Daniel, I really like this question. Daniel says, I have a big question. Should a beginner rider get a higher end BMX bike, a higher end bike? And so I say yes most of the time when people ask, but I only say that when the rider is 100% sure that he or she's going to stick with the sport for a long time. And the reason that is so, well, I guess there's two things because I've gone back and forth with people who have a good amount of money and are getting back into the sport. So two things. Are you going to ride for long enough to get your value out of that bike? As soon as you buy $1,000 bike, you're maybe able to resell it for like $500, $600. So you lose 50%, right? not riding it for 3 to 5 years, then that's okay. Now, if you have the money and you don't really care, go for it. But for me, it was a money was always like a an issue. So like I do dishes at the VFW for 20 bucks a week to use on like food when I'm out riding and stuff like that. So the way I think is always like get by with the bare minimum until you need something else. And it's kind of a an issue I ran into, but that's always my mentality. So for riders in that position, I'm like, look, you're not good enough to break a beginner level bike. And if all you have is $300, $400, get a $400 bike and you're going to be fine for up to a year until you start progressing. I'd also hate for them to get $1,000 bike, ride for a little bit, hate the sport, and then just like, then it's just sitting there. Like, what good does that do? So that's kind of my take on it. If you can afford it, if you plan to stick around, go ahead, get a beginner level bike. If it's really out of your price range and you're not sure if you're going to ride for a long time, and you're a beginner, don't get a beginner level bike. Pretty simple, right? That's my take on it. Dirt Racer says making videos is the fun part and editing is not the fun part. Amen. That's all I can say is amen. Andrew throwing in some good advice about the New Balances we talked about earlier. He said they ripped for him in the first week of riding. That's kind of sad. But if they're pretty inexpensive, like I've had Nikes and Vans do that. Like I've caught them on my crank and they've ripped apart. So if they're pretty inexpensive, it's not too bad. Fab- Fabianski, what's up, man? I think I remember you from the last live. Welcome back. Glad you're here. I'm just scrolling down looking for some good questions. Oh, look. Oh, wait. Daniel Reed did his question. I already answered his question. I don't think Beef BMX answered our question about the tail whip. Beef, I'm looking for it. I'm gonna keep scrolling through here. Hopefully, you tell me if you did any more tail whips. Dual burritos. First of all, man, I like the username, Dual Burritos. That's solid. It says, "Hey, why can't I find a review on the radio bike Comrade? And do you know it?" No, I don't. I've not looked into radio bikes. I think actually, aren't they like We the People's lower version? So like Kink has Mission, We the People has Salt and Radio. Is that what that is? I think that's what it is. I haven't looked at radio at all. I still need to do Fit and lines. And then after that, if the 2022 lines haven't come out, like I can look into some of those other companies. Like I do want to look at Haro and SE and everything else. There's so many different bikes. And like we just talked about earlier, Dirt Racer said editing is not fun. It takes me so long to make the videos and edit them and everything. So right now, nothing on radio bikes, but maybe in the near future, if you want me to take a look at it for you, man, send me like an email, either Douglas at Dougsterbob.com or support at Dougsterbob.com, and just like say, hey, can you tell me if this bike is good for me? And I don't mind doing that. I check my emails usually in the morning for like an hour and reply to them if I can. And if I don't get to it, I'll get to it eventually. And that is the best way to get something like that out of me. Lucas only rides 40 psi because that's the highest his pump can do, dude. Rip, RIP in the chat. Just kidding. You're pretty small, so it won't really like compress like it would for me. You know what I mean? But still, that's so low, man. I don't know. I don't know how you do it. All right. Wyatt says, how well would the 2021 Sunday primer hold up? Wyatt, the sad answer is it wouldn't hold up very good. I'd say if you're over 150 pounds and riding at a mid level or so, I mean, doing anything like bigger than 3 or 4 sets drop wise, it's not going to last very long. Sunday is a great brand. There, once you get up to like the Sunday X, even the Sunday Forecaster is pretty decent. All those bikes up past that are really solid, but anything below that, they're designed for brand new riders to compete with other entry level bikes, and that's about it. The main purpose is to get a kid on a bike with good modern geometry so that they can feel out the sport, see if they like it, see if they plan to stick with it. After that, that bike doesn't last long enough, so they have to buy a new bike. If you're, over 150 pounds, if you plan to ride for a while, if you're riding at a mid level, you're doing some bigger drops already, don't go with the primer. It's not because it's a bad bike, but it's probably just you're the opposite, dude. Primer is going to hold up for you just dedicated and you put in work. You're going to have to upgrade it eventually. Beef BMX says no more whips yet. Super windy this weekend. He's been working on truck drivers. Okay, dude, that's okay. Next, you got 3 whips. That's our goal. Okay, we're gonna set the goal. Everyone here in this chat is accountable. Hold Beef BMX accountable. He's gonna learn 3 whips by September. That is the goal. Okay, 3 whips by September. Andrew says, my friend has the new primer and it's a great bikini for him because he's a beginner. That's funny. Autocorrect always does us dirty. uh, okay, hold on. Skip to the bottom. I'm going back up to okay, here we go. Dual burritos. Oh, wait. We just answered dual burritos question. We talked about Isaac getting a new frame. That's super exciting. Guys, I'm still not sure about what frame I'm gonna go with. I don't know. I don't know. It's not like they're in stock. The Sunday night shift, that's the one I want, but it's not in stock. So, ooh, maybe they are now because Sunday is restocked on. I'm gonna look after this, guys. Don't let me forget to look for frames in stock. Oh, Jeff says, for everyone who wants to know about getting a good bike, I'm a dad. Make a deal with your parents or family, get a good one, and show you want to get better and that you're dedicated. Then comes the bike, Jeff. That is some solid advice, very solid advice. Because I have a lot of kids that, even in my instance, my parents were hesitant to buy me a bike because it's like I don't know. You never know, right? Like we talked about, you get a bike and then you only ride it for a little bit. For your parents, that's a huge waste of money. So, like Jeff is saying, if you show that you're dedicated, that you're serious about it, they're going to be a lot more willing to help you out like that. Parents spend a ton of money on baseball and soccer and football just to get you in it, get your stuff and everything like that. So BMX shouldn't be really any different, but it's hard for them to understand it as a sport and not just a hobby. But for me, it was like, I want this bike, and my parents like, dude, Jesus Christ, that's so expensive. And so anyway, I got like a $200 or $300 bike, and it lasted me 6 months. And so then we bought another $300 or $400 bike, and it lasted me about 8 months. Then we bought a $500 to $600 bike. And so you think about probably 2 grand altogether by the time I finally had a custom that we spent. And if I would have went right off the bat and got like a $1,200 bike, life would be a lot easier, and and that would have saved a good amount of money. So, Jeff, that is solid. Thank you for throwing that in the chat. Andrew says thoughts on Began's new part. I haven't watched it. Don't come at me. I don't really watch too many edits, to be honest. I only do it for the podcast. I watch a small amount of edits to or different events that happen, not necessarily edits. There's a lot of people making videos and content covering new edits and stuff like that. And I don't really want to get into it. I do enjoy watching some edits, but here's my problem. By the time the edit's over, I forgot 75% of it. Like I see something, I'm like, wow, that was cool. And then it's over and I'm like, I can't recite what happened in it. You know what I mean? So it's tough. Surf skate, I think you're pretty new to the live. Welcome. And congratulations on switching into some BMX. I think people who can ride, skate, scooter, bike, all that are the ultimate talented people. Like, look at our Willie, right? Our Willie can kill it on the bike, the scooter. He was even doing rollerblades. I saw an Instagram clip of that. That is like, that's multi talent. I can only ride a bike. So kudos to anyone who can do both. Surf Skate says, I skated a lot since I was young, and now I'm 17 and want to start with BMX. 400 euros is a good price for a beginner BMX. I don't necessarily know the conversion rate. $400 is really pushing it in United US dollars. That's really pushing it for a BMX for a beginner bike, because once you get into above 400, you're pushing into mid-level bikes. So it depends how early, like how low quality the beginner bike is, and if 400 euros is anywhere near. Uh, so if it is less, like that's a fair price. Okay. Dirt Racer, speaking of frames, he said, "Did you pick a new frame yet? Still going with the 21.25?" Um, that's still kind of my idea, is a 21.25, but it changes as I look at different specs. Like maybe I'll go with a 21 with a little bit longer of a chainstay. You guys, if any of you guys know Steven Woodward, we're friends on Instagram. He lives kind of close to me. He's a few hours away, but he just sent me some pictures of his new bike, and it looks he's hooking up with Medieval Bike Co. But the frame, it's funny. He has a decently long stand or a chainstay, 21-inch top tube. He's a really tall guy, but his standover is like eight something. It's pretty low in the general scheme of things. So maybe I'll copy his specs and get something like that. See how it goes. Maybe I can learn flip whips like him. I don't know, but yeah, that's what I'm thinking about it. Roud says, "Thank you so much on answering the 22-inch back end length." Oh, wait, the answering the 22-inch end length. It's been a tough question for me and my peeps. I ended up riding a fit 22-inch with assorted parts and 11-inch bars. What did you think about that fit 22? I have also rode one of those at premises and I took it on a couple ramps. It felt so huge. Like it's hard to actually control things like that. I don't know. I don't know how people do it. Okay, guys, we got to start a GoFundMe to get Marvin a new pump because his pump is really struggling. So GoFundMe / get Marvin a new pump. Luke, Luke, sorry to hear about your knee artery. That's kind of wild. He says, I have a weird injury. So basically, I jumped a bank to flat, hit my artery on my knee, and it became super swelled, and I had to go to the hospital. Has this ever happened to anyone? It's never happened to me, man. I don't know if it's happened to anyone else, but that is pretty wild. Um, get better. Ice. I think ice is supposed to help a lot for things like that. I don't know. That's wild. I've never heard of such a thing. Andrew says the best pair of riding shoes, in his opinion, are the Vans Dakota Roach slip-ons. Really? I was arguing with someone about that. Is I feel like slip-ons would be tough to ride in. I've never worn slip-ons, period. Like I've never actually even put them on, so I don't know how good they stay on your they don't stay on your feet that good. And if that's the case, imagine doing a crank flip and your shoe flies off. That wouldn't be very good. But if they don't slip off, maybe they're pretty solid. I also like to have a little bit of ankle protection. Mad respect to anyone riding in really low cut shoes that do like tail whips and things like that, because you have to have another level of control to not smack your ankles every time you do a trick. Yeah, that's what Lucas is just saying. You hit your ankles on your crank so hard. Amen. Ride Lifestyle uses basketball shoes and they work good because ankle cushion and they grip good. Interesting. I bought like Osiris shoes from Ross once and they were way up to like they were really high up and really super padded. They weren't comfy to ride in. They would have really protected my ankles if they didn't feel like I was wearing clubs on my feet. It was like I was walking around with you know what drivers, ball drivers, like it's just big globby shoes, you know? It's tough. That's very tough. Hamza, what's up, Hamza? Thank you for popping in. I just skipped to the bottom and saw your comment. Welcome back. I saw you commented in some of the videos, so that is always exciting. I've got to scroll back up here though to get to the questions. We're at 45 minutes, and this is a good live so far, guys. So this is funny because some of you guys are only on this Friday live, and some of you guys are on the Friday and the Sunday. So it's really cool to get to see different people here. It's a lot of work for me to do 2 of these a week, but I do enjoy it for the most trick, or for the most part. I was reading Beef BMX's comment. He says, wait, did I skip anything? Blake, you are welcome for the chain. Don't thank me. Thank everyone else who throws in those donations. We're able to help you out because of that. Hopefully you get that chain put on. You can get back to shredding, man. That is sick. I'm glad you got it. Beef BMX says 3 whip is his dream trick. So we're gonna hold him accountable. We're gonna get those 3 whips. And yeah. Isaac says when I was at the skate park, there was a dude on a dirt jumper doing 180 whips. See that kind of thing, Isaac, it literally blows my mind. Nick, the guy I partnered with for bike school, he rides a dirt jumper too. So it's a hardtail, but the front has suspension. And I tried to like hop bar on his bike and I can't even get enough pop to do it. But then there's people on those things that can hop 3, full cab, like all it doesn't make sense to me, but maybe you get used to it after a while. Maybe you just have to be extra strong. I'm not sure. We were talking actually on the podcast. There's a really good comment on that because we talked about the Sonar mountain bike free coaster hub, and I can't remember who it was. I'll talk about it in episode 6 next week. But they were saying that there's a good chance there's going to be a merge in a sense of mountain bike and BMX, and this is really interesting to think about because BMX, like he said, is getting moving towards some full suspension bikes, right? So we're kind of moving in that direction, and then mountain bikes getting free coasters and maybe even pegs, right? And so they're moving into that direction. And it'd be really cool to see what happens if we like meet in the middle. Ultimately, I would like and have and ride both at the park just because like that. But but yeah, crazy to think about, guys. Keep that in mind and let me know what you think in the comments somewhere. Maybe the comments on this video, maybe another video, whatever. Isaac McPike says, Doug, have you looked at getting the We the People buck? I have not. It's a relatively new one, isn't it? Oh, my caps locks are on. That's funny. Hold on, I gotta look at it. Yeah, it's Dylan Lloyd's. Okay. Here's my thoughts on the next parts I buy from now on. I'm gonna get weight is not going to be a primary focus for me. It's going to be more so about longevity. So I'm going to go for parts that have a lifetime guarantee, like We the People or like Sunday. And I'm going to see what happens because I'm tired of breaking parts and then like not then having to buy new parts. So that's kind of what I'm moving at. The buck frame is so heavy, 5.2 pounds. I don't know. Look, I was just talking about not being a weight weenie, and then I read that and I'm like, oh God, I just got to get over it. Dylan Lloyd's a strong guy, so I'm sure that frame really holds up. Marvin stayed up and was able to get the Fly Omega. I remember when you were in the chat asking about it, Marvin. That was a while ago. But dude, that's so sick that you were able to get that. That is a high level bike. All right, Wyatt says, I'm a beginner rider that has never had a real BMX bike. Guys, if you wait, Wyatt, not yet. I gotta say, Blanco just made it to the live and said, just made it to the live. Let's go. Welcome, Blanco. Thank you for hanging out, man. I appreciate it. Okay, Wyatt says, I'm a beginner rider that has never had a real BMX bike. What would be the absolutely best bike that has 20.75-inch top tube and it has to be under 380. 380 is a tough budget to work with. If you're looking at the primer and you are a beginner rider and you've never had a real BMX bike, the primer is going to be okay. I would love to see you get something like a Kink Gap or the Sunday Forecaster, but those are just out of your budget. The Kink Gap's right at $400 and it's a 20.5-inch top tube. And the Forecaster you'll get in a 20.75, but it is also um, way out of your budget. But let me look at the actual price because I can't remember off the top of my head. Sunday Forecaster comes in pink though. That's kind of cool, eh? Oh my god. It's showing me like same prices and they're very expensive. Yeah, the Forecaster is almost 700 or whoa. Almost 500. It's 479. So that honestly, you're not going to get anything much better than the primer unless you step up and get over that $400 price range. The best, another $100 or so, get the Kink Whip. But a lot of times we don't calculate in like what shipping and taxes would be. So usually the $450 Kink Whip is closer to five something after shipping and after taxes. So primer it is, man. I think you get the primer, start saving from that point so that when it breaks, you can get something a little bit better and do it like I did. I mean, it worked out okay for me. Lucas had a scooter god at his park doing quad whips down a 10 stair. That's crazy. Shinobi and who's asking about it? And Blake. Yeah, guys, I am internet broke, so the stream I feel so bad when I rewatched. I'm like, God, this is awful quality, but at least the audio is half decent. So you guys just close your eyes when it gets pixely and pretend that it's not pixely, and then just listen, okay? Dirt Racer does BMX, mountain bike, and dirt bikes. That's dirt bikes is the craziest one to me because that thing weighs so much. If it tips over on your leg, game over. Game over. Blake likes riding or wearing slip-ons when he rides. Okay, okay. Oh, Shinobi, I see I skipped your question. I'm so sorry, man. Okay, I'm going back up to the top to catch up to where I was. I'm right to close to that question, okay? And then I'll get to it. But I did skip it. My bad. I didn't see it. Um, Blue Turf, what's up? You're new to the live. Welcome. He says, should I get into BMX even though I don't have any skate parks nearby? And to second Lucas, hell yes, man. That shouldn't even be a when I started riding, we did have a skate park, and this is all it was. It was like a little quarter, a little fun box, and a bank, and then like a rail, and that's it. But if we rode in there, we'd get kicked out by the cops. Like the actual cops would come and almost arrest us. Just and I was like 13. It's like, dang, you're gonna arrest a 13-year-old kid for riding at the skate park. They literally had nothing better to do. So we wouldn't ride the skate park. We would ride street or build like little dirt jumps and stuff like that. The coolest thing about this sport, man, is you can travel. You can travel to different parks, da 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 da. Two, you can ride whatever you want. Like I'm sure you have street around you, banks, curbs, like handrails, things like that, ledges. You can get into the sport and ride without a park, and you might love street more. There's pro street riders that are pretty terrible at riding park because that's all they ride is street, and they make a lot of good money. Red Bull riders are street riders too, so there you go. All right, Andrew says the Dak Roach slip-ons stay on your feet way better than other slip-ons. They're the slip-ons, not the slip-offs. Okay, fair enough. I'm gonna try some, maybe one day. W3XL4Y says, "Is Stranger BMX a good brand?" Yes, I had Stranger Haze bars, and that's the only Stranger thing I've rode. They were very good bars. I loved them. I loved the geometry and the way they felt. They did ultimately crack, so they haven't lasted near as long as the Colony bars I'm riding right now. I think the Stranger bars lasted me maybe around a year. The Colony bars are going on. 3 or 4. So that's crazy. I hope I didn't jinx it. I hope they don't break. But Stranger overall is a pretty solid brand. They're pretty small in the grand scheme of things. And the way I always look at that is that they probably don't have the same amount of capital to buy a bunch of bikes like Sunday would, so their prices are going to be a little bit higher, but quality wise, they're solid. Okay, Shinobi got skipped. I'm sorry. So for my first ride and trick, oh yeah, you're going on your first ride this weekend. That's so exciting. Hold on. I just got an email from Crocs. I don't know if any of you guys own Crocs, but they're emailing the wrong person. I'm not a Crocs guy. All right, that's for Shinobi Pride. Um, should I choose four and try all or focus on one? Manual, fakie, and bunny hop maybe would be my choice. Go with all four. Tricks like that. I mean, pick one and dedicate a small amount of time to it and then move on to the next one. So for the overall ride, focus on, yeah, four, three or four, whatever, but break it into sections because when you do one at a time, you're able to really hone in and focus on that. And dude, so let's say you go with bunny hops first, right? Don't just do bunny hops for 15 minutes. Like think about it, right? What am I doing to get this front wheel up? What can I do to get it up higher? What am I doing to get the back wheel up? How can I do that better? In bike school, we talk a lot about filming yourself and rewatching it and then analyzing what you could do differently. And it's a thing that I was talking about in that last video I did about the deliberate practice. So if you do bunny hops for 15 minutes, you're not going to be as good as the guy that does bunny hops for 10 minutes and breaks it down and analyzes it. You've got to be thinking about the progression side of it and what you can do differently. So manual fakie, bunny hop. You could also try. No, those were the three I was going to say. Never mind. But yeah, break it down in different sections. Focus on that trick for a set amount of time, and then move on to the next one so you don't get frustrated because that happens a lot. And calming your frustration is a big thing in reducing your heart rate and getting you into that optimal zone for progression. Lucas, this is I love to talk about Brandon Simonok. I had no idea who he was until last year, and apparently he's a mountain bike god. And these kids at Woodward like worshipped him. And our supervisor was like, ask the kids in your cabin what they think about it. So I did, and they're like, oh my God. And I watched some of his videos and I was absolutely blown away. Even though it's on a big bike, like he is next level for sure. And I admire his riding. Like it is absolutely insane. You guys, if you guys haven't watched it, you have to go watch it right now. Okay. Google Brandon Simonok and watch some of his edits. They're crazy. Michael Baldwin, what's up? Welcome back to the live. Glad you're here with us. Hopefully, he says, hopefully, I'll be able to get more than a few hours of riding in. Just been too cold here in Helena, Montana to ride for more than 1 hour at a time. I was in Dillon, Montana, I think. So I used to live in Baker. It's by Billings. It's on the opposite side of the state, Montana. I didn't know there was much BMX over there. You have what's the college town? Is it Bozeman? Bozeman has a crazy good park, I think. Um, Dude, Montana this time of year sucks, but then in the summer, Montana gets super hot. So it's like super cold, super hot, no in between. Good luck with that, Michael. I hope you get some time to shred. Dillon Skate Park was kind of fun though. There are good parks over there. It's really, really weird to me that Montana has such good parks. Denzel Scott popped in. What's up, Denzel? Glad you are here with us. Welcome back. Even though you have been missing out some of the lives, it's okay to miss the lives. Guys, you have lives. You got stuff going on. It is all good. Hamza says, I changed my park because I see some friends smoking and drinking alcohol. I can't play with my BMX. I'm scared because I have a feeling to steal my bike. That's what makes me change the park to another one. Okay, Hamza, good looks, good looking out. You don't want to get your bike stolen and you don't want to get secondhand drunk or something like that. So that's good. Street is all like this was interesting to me when I did that poll and I asked you guys if you like to ride alone with a big group of friends or with just a couple homies. A good amount of people said just one or two people. And my assumption is that everyone would want to ride with a huge group. But then when I thought about it a little more, you do get like people who are just very annoying. That happens to me sometimes when I go to El Paso and there's more than like five of us. I get so annoyed, whether it be the person actually being annoying or the group. Like you can't get a run in, you can't get your tricks in, and you can't like. I don't know. I didn't think that much about it until that poll, and I was surprised. And I said, "Well, okay, that makes sense." Wyatt said, "I can't." Oh wait, I can't get over. I thought you said I can get over 400. Never mind. I take the air horn back. Um, yeah, I mean, maybe Wyatt, you can find a kink gap that is in that, right at 400. But other than that, man, you just got to go with the budget, and your parents might have to buy you another bike in a short amount of time, and that's just how it goes. Asher, that's a good point about the boots and the legs. I didn't think of that. Some people ride dirt bikes in Van slip-ons though. So, all right, we are right at an hour. The last two lives I've gone for almost 2 hours, and I cannot do that today. So I'm gonna rip through here and answer some of these good questions really quickly. If I see your question, guys, come back on Sunday or next Friday and get those questions answered. Andrew had to pop out, but let's see. Okay, I'm just gonna run through some questions. Dirt Racer X, this isn't a question, but I did want to mention it. I'm bad at this. He says, I'm in full Stormtrooper armor riding dirt bikes, knee brace, neck brace, chest protector, $1,500 in just that's more than that's almost what my bike costs. That's crazy. Oh, wait, I might be right at the end. This is perfect timing. There's not too many questions. Guys, is there any last minute questions? Pop them in. Wyatt says, "Oh, Wyatt, good question. I'm gonna plug it one more time. I teamed up anyone interested in it. Basically, online course editing the videos and uploading them to the course right now. Aside from that, everything's done. There right now, there's like tail whip, bar spin. No, there's a lot of tricks already done. There's a small handful that aren't yet. But I'm just put the link. You can see what's done, what's not done. You can see what's in the course. If you're interested, you can go to this link and oh wait, hold on, that's the wrong link. I mean, we have videos about stance, foot pushes, how to jump box jumps, how to jump spines. It goes entry level to actually learning the trick, so you can build a foundation and then work your way up from there. But I'm going to send you this. You see if it's the right move for you, and if it is, put in your email address and your first name, and then I send you a link to get it at the pre-sale price instead of the full price. Okay, I'm going to put this in here for you guys if it's still working. It says my connection's unstable, which is super annoying, but there you go. That's the link, guys, for anyone interested. The pre-sale price ends on the 9th, so you only have until the 9th to do it. And yeah. Wait, I see yo, what's up, Jared? Jared, you popped in just at the end, but I see you in the comments on stuff, man. I miss having Crabtree hanging out in the chats, but thank you for stopping by. So anyway, guys, that is the link to bike school. Thanks for the hanging out on the live. Don't tell anybody about it, but if you want it, pop in there and scoop it up. We have a small amount of people in there already progressing and learning tricks. I will see you guys Sunday. Again, thanks for hanging out. And I'm going to drop a new We the People review today in a couple hours. So be ready for that. Blue Turf, this live is every single Friday and every single Sunday. So I do 2 lives a week, and you can come hang out, ask your questions and stuff. Pierce, email me, Douglas at dougsterbob.com, and I will shoot you that address. Okay. Let's see. Somebody else said something cool, I think. Oh, yo, DeSantos. Dude, I remember you. I'm glad you are here. I'm doing well. How are you? That is the question. But but yeah, all right, guys, this was a lot of fun. Have a great day. Happy Friday. Happy Easter. I hope you get out, ride your bikes. I hope Beef BMX lands his 360 tail whip. And dude, I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you.